Play how we play. Here we go again. That's gotta do. That's gotta do. Here we go again. All right, y'all. All right. Alexa, continue. Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, and Real Live with your host, myself, Damon the Agent. Thank you all for joining me on this Friday at 12 noon. Alexa, stop. I'm sorry, she didn't listen. So, as always, on every Friday, I come to you with the latest world of real estate. And I am coming to you today to provide summer updates to you all and a little bit more. I was having some issues. Let me see what. Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure. All right, I'm good. Yeah, so as always, let me begin my show with talking about the wonderful world of real estate. So I wanted to talk to you today about summer updates. I want to talk about a few things, what's going on in the summer market, so some of you all can clearly understand what's happening in the wonderful world of real estate. There's a lot of moving parts, you all. There are a lot of sellers moving. There's a lot of buyers moving. One of the questions someone asked me recently was, how's the market? And that's always a tricky question. How's the market? And I always like to answer is it depends on what side of the market you're on. It depends on if you're a buyer. It depends on if you're a seller. So let me just give some statistics so that people will get a clear idea of how's the market. So I'm in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, which is known as the DMV. And I just want to go over some stats to give people some ideas of how the market is. Now, here's the thing. The medium sale price, and I'm just going to go over numbers so people can get an idea of how's the market. All right now, currently, the average sale price that's projected for 2024 is $592,660. That is a 4% increase from last year. Okay, last year, the average medium sales price on the market was $570,000. In 2022, the average medium sales price was $556,000. In 2021, the average medium sale price was $530,000. In 2020, the year of COVID, the average medium sales price was $490,000, y'all. And in 2019, the average medium sale price was $450,000. Now, I briefly want to just share the fact that I want to just go over these numbers so people can get a clear idea of what's going on. Now, like I just mentioned, right now, since 2019 to 2024, there is a 131.7% increase in home values in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. It is a huge difference, y'all. So when people have been saying last year, I'm going to wait for the interest rate to come down, they're not taking into consideration that the prices have gone up and they're continuing to go up. Now, I want to also share with you all that in this particular area that I mentioned in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, like I said, from last year, it's a 4% increase. So when we do the math on that, because I was doing the math before I got on here, now they said the medium sales price was $507,000, okay, in which when we add 4%, comes up to $592,800. So here's the thing, people. Depending on what side you're on, I mean, if you bought a home within the last 2 years and you're comfortable and content, that's fine. If you're on the edge about buying a home, I would strongly recommend you speak to a reputable lender or realtor such as myself to give you some valid information of what's going on out here in the marketplace. Now, there are a lot of people right now who are choosing not to buy. Some people are actually renting, which is fine. In many cases, the rent is higher than what most people mortgage is going to be. I've been speaking to some people and they've been wanting rental properties that are not in this current day and age price range. They want a single family home that's roughly under 2,000. And in the DC, Maryland, Virginia, unless it's like near Baltimore, most houses for rent are over $2,000, especially the people who are looking for a single family home. So I want to also tell you that the landlords are specifically looking for certain things. Now, there's a lot of rental properties that are being handled by property management companies. And because they're being handled by property management companies, these property management companies take on a liability when they are, the one who are supposed to be looking after these properties. So because of that, there are certain things that landlords are looking for these days. They run a criminal background check, y'all. They run that along with your credit. They verify your rental history and they verify your annual income. So these are the four main compartments that most rental properties are looking at. They're looking at your credit first, then they're looking at your annual income, they're looking at your rental history, and they're checking to see if you have a criminal background. The reason why I said they're looking at a criminal background is because of the fact that many of these landlords want to make sure that the person who is renting their property is not going to give them a hard time. And also, some of them are being ran and taken care of by property management companies, and they have to make sure that they have a liability when it pertains to the caregiving of these properties. So because of that, renting a property can be iffy, especially if you have challenged credit. Now, in some areas, because I've been working with renters lately, in some areas, depending on your credit scores, some landlords want people to have credit scores as high as it would be if you were purchasing a home. In many areas, they want 660 and higher for a credit score in order to consider you to rent their properties. Now, someone said that that's unreasonable, and I told them that that may be true because if you can get that high credit score, you can actually buy. But there are some people who are looking for short-term rentals, short-term stay, so they don't mind paying for short term. They don't want to buy, and because of that, the landlords know that. So um, I would strongly suggest that if you do have some credit issues, to speak with someone or to work on it yourself. You yourself can contact all three of the credit bureaus. I put this on my short show before, and I'm going to put it up real quick right there where all three credit bureaus, you can contact them directly yourself. And when you contact them, you can basically just, challenge any and all credit things. I mean, anything on your credit report that you feel like shouldn't be there. And also, if they've been lingering for a very long time, I would try to challenge those too, because you never know, they might fall off. All right. So I just wanted to suggest that. Um, you know, for those people who are dealing with that. But again, going back to the summer market, people are still moving, y'all. Most people like to be moved before the summertime ends, right before school start. They want to get situated. They want to make sure their kids are in a certain school district so they can put them in a certain school. And they're doing all this moving and grooving now. So the days are longer. That's why if you'll go out on the weekend, you'll see a lot of open houses in many areas, or you'll see a lot of people going to check out houses because people are in the position to buy and people are moving, y'all. They are moving. So when you snooze, you lose. So I just wanted to share that in this particular area that I'm in, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, the prices continually have gone up. Over the past 5 years, they've gone up 131.7%. Since last year, it's gone up 4%. Now, I'm also looking at this demographic right now, in which I can see on here in certain areas. And that's why I always say real estate is always relative to the area. Because when I look at Virginia, way down at the Richmond area and further, the price of houses have gone down in the last year minus 2.4%. But that's Richmond area and below. Northern Virginia, no, it's not like that. And then I'm also looking over here, Pennsylvania, it's gone up 5.9% since last year. Parts of New Jersey, 5.5%. West Virginia has gone up 3.8%. Certain parts of Delaware, it's gone down minus 2.3%. So I say all that to say Their real estate is always relative to the location, but at the same time, though, in this particular area in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, there's always a high demand. People are always moving here. People are always moving away. There's always a high demand. So if your property shows well, or if the property shows well, looks nice, it's going to 9 times out of 10 get a lot of traffic. And if it is priced right, it's most likely going to go quick. So I just wanted to share that about the summer market, and I'll be right back in a minute, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right, y'all. Real quick, I want to talk. I have some Q&As. That's my question of the day. If you all have any questions, please feel free to post them. Um, Real quick, I want to talk about wills, y'all. You all know I always talk about a little financial piece every time I'm on here now. So I want you all to talk about and to consider wills. There's a lot of people who don't have wills, and when people are passing away, it's creating a big mess among family members, among children, among the properties involved, monies that's left in banks. When people pass away, some people have money saved up in a bank account. That money sits there. The bank can't do anything with it. Everyone really needs to consider creating a will. The will is to be left, so when you pass away, for those who would like to leave whatever to their loved ones, there's some people say, oh, I don't care when they pass away, but they don't understand that they create a huge problem for their family. Because let's say if you own a home, you're going to have the creditors trying to come after that home. If you owe credit card bills, anything you own, they're going to try to take the home. So your family is not going to be able to live in a home freely just because you're gone. There's still responsibilities and obligations when you are gone. So creating a will is something that I want many people to take into consideration. There are certain people that you can talk to. Like I mentioned before, I can always guide and direct you to certain people when it pertains to wills. But I really want people to actually think about it. A will, and I just want to give you a brief what a will does and what's the main purpose. Now, a will is also referred to the last will and testament. It is a written document that is used to distribute property following someone's death. When someone writes a will, it's subject to amendment at any time during the person's lifetime. So this means that things that you might have owned 20 years ago, and then somebody comes to claim it, if you still owe it or have it, then someone can claim it if you don't put in the will. The main purpose of a will is to allow you to specify how estate assets will be divided among your heirs or anyone else you'd like to leave money or property to after you're gone. A will also allows you to name a legal guardian, especially for minor children. State laws determine what constitutes a legally valid will. Generally, a will is considered valid if it's written and signed by an adult who is of sound mind. Sound mind, people. That means your grandmother who may be losing her mind, you can't have her do the will and everything. You have to become legal guardian of her, become her power of attorney. It's witnessed by two or more people who are also of sound mind and not created under duress or as a result of fraud. Now, we know some people, especially in their family, know somebody got some money who's getting older and they try to take advantage of it. This is why I strongly would recommend a professional to actually, do the will for you and everything. Because if you get the will done, trust and believe it will alleviate a lot of problems when you're gone. And I strongly recommend to please consider a will. If you do not have a will and you would like to be directed to how to create a will and everything, please reach out to me. I will gladly help you because there are a lot of issues that's going on with properties, with people's money being in in banks not turning over the money to the family people because they didn't have a will, where people are leaving properties and things are in the property and people want to go get, but then the person might have created a trust. So there's a lot of things going on, people. Please save your family the headache. I don't care if you own only a mattress, okay? When you pass away and you want that mattress to go in the trash, please state it in the will. Please, everything. You have to be detailed because you have to understand that you have children, grown children, grandchildren. If you don't leave a will and you don't leave things to them, guess what? You may think things are going to be okay, but they're a problem because there's always people who are lurking and trying to take advantage of people. That's just like, for example, when people pass away, and let's say the house is free and clear, and then their taxes owed on the property. People buying people's other properties and tax liens and everything. It's a lot of stuff that goes on. Please, please, please consider getting a will. Okay, so I have some Q&As right now. Question of the day. All right, I'm gonna go through the questions of the day. All right, so the first question is, if you have a felony record, can you buy a home? If you have a felony record, can you buy a home? The answer to that is yes. You know, a lot of times when it pertains to getting approved for a home loan, they run your credit, they check for bankruptcies, they check for judgments, they check for things of that nature. They check your taxes, but they don't matter if you were a criminal. You know, if you can get approved for the home loan through everything else, you can buy a home. So, can you buy a home if you have a felony record? The answer is yes. The other question is, how long does it take for the underwriting to clear documents for closing? How long does it take for the underwriting to clear documents for closing? That's a good question. That varies. Nowadays, a lot of underwriters are very quick with clearing documents for closing as long as the buyers have provided all of the requested documents in a timely manner. And once the underwriting receives all the documents that have been requested, typically the underwriting can clear to close in less than a week. It just depends. So once the underwriting has the appraisal, they have all the necessary documents. They don't need anything else. They're reviewing everything to go to clear to close. Once they have everything, it doesn't take them that long. They can, you know what I'm saying? It varies. So I say under 7 days, but let me just say under 2 to 3 weeks. Put it like that. It really varies. So I can't give a specific time on that. Only a reputable lender can tell you how quickly their mortgage company can process the loan. But typically, you can go to closing within 21 to 30 days using a local lender. Using a big bank, like I mentioned last week, it takes 45 to 60 days with big banks. So how quickly underwriting can go to closing, it's going to depend on who you use as well, too, because if you use a big bank, it's going to take a little longer. If you use a local lender, it's going to be a little quicker. So how long does it take for the underwriting to clear documents for closing? It's going to depend on which bank you go to, and it's all going to depend on how quickly the buyers can get the underwriting everything that they need. But once they have everything that they need, it typically doesn't take that long. So, but it varies. I would say talk to a lender. Okay. It said, the next question is, does your loan rate lock in once you are approved for a loan? Does your loan rate lock in once you are approved for a loan? The answer is no. It does not lock in once you are approved. It is locked in once the lenders get a ratified contract and you have signed the lender documents, the loan documents. So in most cases, once you get a ratified contract, they can lock in the loan based off the ratified contract. Like, meaning once the contract has been signed by both the seller and the buyer and they have a ratification date, they lock in the loans then. That's when they can lock in the loan. But once you get approved for a loan, the rate is not locked in. So, because, for example, most banks will issue an approval letter. Approval letter can be 60 days or 90 days. Buyers still looking for a home. They have not chosen a home. So because they have not chosen a home, in many cases, they can't lock in anything until they have actually the contract ratified. That's when the loans get locked in. Okay, not when you're approved for a loan. All right. Got some more questions. If you buy a second property, does the property tax double? If you buy a second property, does the property tax double? The answer to that is the property tax do not double, but depending on where you buy the property, might feel like the property taxes have doubled, especially if the second property taxes are higher than your taxes. And because we're in, like I mentioned, the DMV area, I'll give you an example. Prince George's County, which is a very good county, has some of the highest taxes in the state. Charles County, which is right below it, taxes are much lower. In many cases, there are some areas in Prince George's County that the taxes are double that of Charles County, but it's based off location. So if you buy a second property, it does not mean that your taxes double. Sometimes the tax can seem double because of where you're buying and the cost of how much more the taxes are. So that plays a huge role in what taxes are going to be. You can buy a house for 700,000 in Prince George's County and buy a house for 700,000 in Charles County, and the taxes will be totally different. So if you buy a second home, does the property tax double? No, but it can seem like it doubles because of when you're buying the property from. Another question. If you want to purchase a property next door, are there advantages or disadvantages to purchasing the houses on the same block? If you want to purchase a property next door, are there advantages or disadvantages to purchasing houses on the same block? That's a great question. Now, here's the thing. The advantages I would assume would be basically the convenience of owning multiple houses on the same block. You can have your family or anyone in. The disadvantages is sometimes your family being too close to you and you don't want them in your business. Those are the only advantages or disadvantages that I can bring up. I can't bring up any other advantages or disadvantages because you have to be a little bit more specific with that question. And here's the last question. What are the financial advantages of owning the home next door to you? What are the financial advantages of owning the home next door to you? I believe, again, this is always local. I believe that the state gives you some type of tax credit on the property when you own a home that is next door to you. But you will have to actually look into that and also speak with a lender because the the lending laws and guidelines change so rapidly. I am not a lender. I'm very educated on the loan, what goes on the loan side because of all the transactions that I deal with. So I know a lot of these things based off experience, but I am not a lender. So I would strongly advise you to speak with a local lender. I have several great lenders that I work with. If you would like for me to refer you, I would strongly suggest for you to send me a message and I can definitely refer you to a great lender. But when it pertains to a lot of these things, when it pertains to the financial advantages of owning a home next door to you, I strongly recommend you to speak to a local lender. Those are some great questions, y'all. Great questions. Now, real quick. I got a home up today. All right. This is my home up today. This property I just put on the market about a week ago. It is in Clinton, Maryland, 9110 Pineview Lane, Clinton, Maryland. It's priced at $375 right now. It's a single family home, 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths. This is a single family home in Clinton, Maryland that has a huge backyard. As you all can see, it holds up to 4 cars in the driveway, has 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths. Look at all that wood right there in the back here. Look at the huge yard. You can host cookouts, parties, events, or if you got animals like dogs, they can all be in the backyard. So as you can see right now, very good. It has a porch, a nice porch. Had the wood burning fireplace. The kitchen has been updated. We're going to go down here in the basement. All right. The HVAC has also been updated. There's one of the full baths in the basement. Washer and dryer. Have storage underneath the steps. And got a lot of area space in the basement. It's an open basement. Here's one of the rooms that's on the main level. The other full bathroom. It's another bathroom. It's the hallway. Another bedroom. I'm sorry, the other one was the other bedroom. Another bedroom. And then another bedroom. So this property is going for $375. I can tell you right now that I do have a lot of traffic on this particular property, in which If anyone's interested, the best offer is going. The deadline is an offer deadline set for Sunday at 6 p.m. Just to let you know. So that's in Clinton, Maryland, 9110 Pineview Lane. I have another one coming up in Stafford, Virginia, but I'll bring that up soon. All right, y'all. Let me get to my topic of the day. I'll be right back. All right, y'all. All right. Hold on for 1 second. Let me get out of this because I see that I'm still showing. All right. Thank you all for joining me. All right. I forgot to mention, please follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. I'm on all of them. So my topic of today is colored people time. And all Black people know what I'm talking about when I say colored people time. And for those of you who are non-Black and you want to know what colored people time is, it's basically when Black people show up late and they use the excuse colored people time. I've been hearing this all my life. Now, here's the thing. For me, as a Black person, I'm rarely late for anything. And I'm going to explain why. My father used to be on color people time all the time. He used to be late for everything. Everything. He used to take us to movies sometime. And he would always see people. He'll start talking as he drive and pull over. We get to movies 30, 45 minutes late. It always bothered me that I showed up late. Okay. It bothered me tremendously. To what a point is, if anybody knows me, knows I am early for everything. Even when I have clients, and if we meet at a property at 5 o'clock, I'm there maybe at 4:30. I might get there 4:40, but I'm there way more than 15 minutes early. And then I'm in the property, and I'll be looking for them at 4:59, asking them where they at. And a lot of clients will be like, I'm on my way, I'm pulling up, but I'll be standing right there looking, and they're not pulling up. And I feel like as a people, we've gotten so comfortable with color people time. We've gotten so comfortable being late for everything. I see when cookouts or events start, they'll say 4 o'clock. And then I'll show up at 4 o'clock and ain't nobody there. But at the same time, though, ain't nobody ready either. And I started thinking, like, how is it that as Black people, we're late for everything? I think it's about priorities and stuff. And sometimes people want to make an entrance. They want to be seen. They don't want to go early because they feel like ain't nothing going to start on time, which in many cases, depending on who's hosting, because if it is a Black person, a lot of times it ain't starting on time, a lot of times. But there are some of us who start on time. There are some of us who are early for things. I went to an event a couple of days ago. It started at 6 o'clock, 6:30. I was there like 6:40. I felt like I was late because I'm normally on time for stuff, but I decided the last moment to go. And when I got there, could you believe it was nobody there except the people who were hosting and working there? And I just say that to say that if somebody told most Black people, I'll give you $10 million to meet me at the cemetery at exactly 3:12 a.m., I guarantee you majority of the people will be there. But the truth be told is we don't value time. And time is the most precious thing in the world. You can't get back time. Because think about this. All the people who have passed away, your loved ones that you miss and everything, if you had 5 minutes to spend time with them right now, you'll give up $10 million for the ones that you love. And people don't understand the value of time, how important time is. Time is money, but time is irreplaceable. See, you can always get back money, but you can't get back time. So I just say, as a Black people, more people need to get the method of color people time out their mind and need to be on, let's say, white people time. Because truth be told is, even when you're on time, you're late. And I learned that from my buddy Lee. My buddy Lee, he's like a big brother to me and stuff. He's early for everything. He's one of the person that taught me to be early. If he got to be somewhere at 5 o'clock, Lee is there, and I'm not lying, he may be there at 3:45. That's how early he is. But I think Lee a little mixed too. That's my brother, and I could talk about him. I think he a little mixed if you see him. So I don't think that's his Black side that do that. I think that's his other side. But that's a whole nother conversation. But long story short, I learned that most people don't value time because they don't value what's going on or you. And it's like that with our people. We need to do better, y'all. I think a lot of us are too comfortable. We're too content as far as the way we live, what we doing. We don't like nobody say nothing to us. Can't nobody say nothing to us. You know what I'm saying? People don't know how to take corrected criticism. They get on the defensive. They deflect. They're in denial, of so many things. But in order to have self-improvement and to become a better you got to look at the errors of your ways. And a lot of us have errors of our ways. And some of the errors of our ways is us being late for everything. I'm a very punctual person. So I always tell people that if we got to do something, you need to be ready before me because I move quick. And when I move quick, I'm ready to go. And I'm ready to go. So I say that to say, y'all, that this color people time myth, we need to dead this. We need to dead this. You know what I'm saying? First of all, we're not even called color people anymore. So I don't even know why it's called color people time. Second of all, people need to be a little bit more responsible when they're doing anything. When you have an appointment, a rule of thumb that I always go by is I always try to show up I always try to leave at least 1 hour before wherever I have to be. I think you'll need to take that same practice into place because let's say you got to be somewhere at 5 o'clock. It don't mean be ready at your house at 5 o'clock. And then you leave out and now you're in traffic for 45 minutes because you didn't factor in travel time. And then when you get there, you got to find parking. So that's another 10, 15 minutes. So now you're an hour late, all because you decided to leave out at the time you should have arrived. And the problem is so many people who have this mindset. People are late for everything and they get the same lame excuse. Oh, I'm on color people time. Oh, I'm on my way. Oh, stuff don't start on time. You all don't understand. That's a poor and bad habit to have. Being late for everything, there's no excuse. There's no excuses. Just because there's no consequences to you and everything, there is really a consequence to you that you don't even realize and stuff because it's a bad habit that you have. And because so many people have this bad habit of showing up late all the time, you all need to correct it because there's some of us in this world who value time because we know we can't get back time. When we waiting for you who 10, 15 minutes late, we could have been doing something for 10 or 15 minutes. And the sad thing is, though, is you all don't understand the importance of time or even how to look at it. Many of you are 10 or 15 minutes late, but a person like me who try to be efficient with the time, 10, 15 minutes, I could have been doing something because, again, time is money. But like I also said, you can get money back. You can't get time back. So this excuse about color people time, please get rid of it because I'm sick of it. And I know a lot of other people are sick of it. They just may not be saying anything. Because y'all Negroes need to do better, okay? Need to do better. And I'm just sorry to say, because when it pertains to most things that I deal with, and I deal with all nationality, I deal with Black people, my people, Asians, white people, Hispanics, Indians. It is only my people who show up late to stuff and looking around like, what? With an attitude problem. Only my people. The other races, they showing up on time and they early. Our people got all these excuses. Guess what? Traffic is everywhere. What's your excuse? You're going to say, oh, you was in traffic? Traffic everywhere. There's an accident every day. Guess what? What's the excuse? But if you left out at least an hour before you had to be somewhere, most likely you would have arrived on time. And you can even factor it and map it out now with Waze. You can actually put your destination in Waze, connect your Google Calendar to Waze, and Waze will tell you what time to leave to be on time and even send you a notification. But some of you all don't really want to be on time. You all want to continue to show up late, make up your excuses, think it's all about you, think people are supposed to accept your lazy, late behavior, and it's supposed to be acceptable. And truth be told, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable by the world. That's why a lot of times they look at us the way that they look at us, because it's the bad behavior that many people carry around and the attitude. And a lot of times people don't like constructive criticism because they don't want nobody to tell them nothing because they can't do nothing. And they're so quick to be on the defensive. But if they learn to listen as quickly as they will learn to respond, they might be a little bit further in life. Because, see, we all need to grow in some areas of life. We all need to improve in some areas of life. But the problem is many people don't want to listen because many people don't like constructive criticism. But it's also in the Bible that says something about that. You know what I'm saying? It's in the Bible. And you'll know what verse I'm talking about when it said that a fool who despises corrective criticism is basically headed for disaster. So a lot of times when you think things are not working out the way that it should for you, sometimes you got to look at you and see what you're doing. But the problem is many people ain't going to look at them. See, they're going to point the finger. And when you point the finger one way, guess what? 3 fingers are pointed back at you. But people don't even understand that philosophy either. You know why? Because people are so quick to be on the defensive. They quick to judge, but they slow to look at themselves, because that's the world that we live in. So I gave my spiel on color people time. You'll get the message. And speaking of time, I went a little bit over because I wanted to emphasize that color people time needs to die. I hope y'all get that message. I'll be back for my recap. Hold on. All right, y'all. Thank you all for staying with me. Please, again, follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. You don't stop until we keep it. Until we get rid of it, it's still there for me. So, I want to also thank you all. And next Friday, which is the day after the 4th of July, I will not be on next Friday. So I'll follow up in 2 weeks, which will be July the 12th, I believe. I should be here on July the 12th. Again, follow me on all social media platforms, y'all. Again, my recap is when it pertains to the summer market, since last year in the DMV area, overall, we've gone up 4% as far as the medium sales price. And since 2019, we've gone up 131.7% in the DMV area. So for those people who are saying, oh, I'm going to wait for the interest rate to go down, guess what? Even if the interest rate went down to 0 and you wait until then, by the time you do so, that the price will go up so much more that you could have bought right now, save so much more later, and then refinance when the interest rate went down. But some people are not looking at that. You got to understand there's more than one number in the game. And the game is the affordable payments, the price of the home, your interest rate. But hey, listen, it is what it is. And then also I talked about color people time. Look here, people. In order to grow, you have to know. And I just want to share with that color people time is dead. Get rid of that. Try to be on time. Plan to leave out at least 1 hour before time, and you may see a significant change in the results that you're looking for. Follow me on all social media platforms, and also check out my website, DamonTheAgent.com. And I shall talk to you later. Y'all have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you all in 2 weeks.